Hey, welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. Quick video. There's going to be a whole bunch of videos coming out today. This is one of those things where I wouldn't normally make the video, but there's an internet purge going on. Apparently there is an actual purge of the internet happening right now. You know, I'm small enough that no one's even going to notice me, so maybe I can get the word out a little bit. But, you know, this week, especially after Greenwald this week came out and just called out the entire media corporate complex. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about media corporate complex. And that includes social media, broadcast media, print media, whatever fake journalism you have right now. But it's a complex. Like the military-industrial complex, the way people think about that, this is the corporate media complex. And they are purging. Thousands of accounts have been shut down. Hundreds of thousands of posts have been removed. You know, I follow Mr. Guns and Gear. He had a YouTube video taken down, and all it was a whiteboard explanation of the details and side effects of Biden's gun control. And it's just gone. Okay, it was too knowledgeable and too critical. It wasn't vehemently anti-Biden. It was just a critique, literally, like by definition of the word, a critique of the gun control policy. And down, like I woke up this morning and everywhere, you know, I've got groups, Threeper groups, I've got independent voter groups, I've got libertarian groups, I've got anarcho-capitalist groups, I've got gun nut groups, boogaloo groups. I've got like all of these groups, and some of them are fairly normal. I am on a mailing list that's just about economics. And it's not specifically, you know, it's intelligent conversations about economic policy. It's not, because it deals with economics in a realistic fashion, it's generally perceived as slightly conservative, because economics, being able to define a marginal tax rate versus an effective tax rate makes you conservative. There's a certain knowledge there that just makes you conservative. Just acknowledging the reality of economics. Basic economics mailing list, people are being purged. People are like, my account is gone. My Instagram account is gone. You know, people on Law Nerd mailing lists. Okay, but there's just people out there, I'm one of them, who are kind of like amateur law nerds. Like, I like to talk about, think about, explain, argue both sides of the law. People's accounts are just gone, purged. Facebook, Instagram. And that's the thing, is it's not one thing, okay? Someone hammered Instagram for sure. And I'll get into that as soon as I take a sip. I have a friend who is she's a model of sorts. She's an adult entertainer, and she has a clientele of people that like to talk to her, chat with her. They're fans, okay? This isn't like sleazy hotel room, Motel 6 streetwalker stuff. They're fans. She posts her picture, her daily life stuff. You know, she does stuff online. And there are people who like to privately chat with her. It's basically almost exactly the same thing as life coaching. They bring her their problems, they talk, they say, hey, this is what I really want to do. They get a little bit of release. And I don't mean that in a dirty way. They just get a little bit of release, being able to talk about their fandom. Most of these people talk about fandom. Okay? She got hammered on Instagram. She got her account removed the day after she hit 1,000 followers by someone else in the community who didn't like her success. Okay? And she was very open about this. This other person bragged about it on various social media. So the thing is, you can report someone on Instagram and just get them taken down. I don't think there's a mechanism on Instagram, so it's very possible that what is happening on Instagram isn't Instagram itself, it's a brigade attack. Okay, but it's not just Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, it's everywhere. It's a corporate media corporate complex attack, PURGE, and it's occurring right before the election, days before the election. And I have to say that I am highly suspicious of the timing, the scope, and the purpose. I don't think it's going to have the effect they want. You know, there seems to be this idea that if you just get rid of all of the dissent, then Biden will win and Pelosi will own the Senate, because that's what winning the Senate means. Pelosi runs it, not Chuck Schumer. And it'll all go back to normal. We won't have to worry about it anymore. And no one believes that. No one believes that this kind of attack is going to go away if they win. So I think the side effects of this are going to be a little more brutal, a little more negative than they expect. Now, there's a conversation being had right now on one of the low-key channels that no one knows about. And Slingshots. Someone says, why internet purge when we have to be purging in the streets for basic rights? And I'm like, Slingshots. Slingshots is actually an answer I have. It's a kind of a complicated answer, but we can have this discussion. Or in my case, monologue. Slingshots. They want to march. Most of these people don't have an idea of reality. Okay, you're dealing with, for example, the ACLU has changed. All of the lawyers are now under the age of 35. There's no survivor children left. There's no actual Holocaust Jews left. There's no it's under 35 people who've never had a challenge in their life. They've never been challenged. And I think that is a pretty key element to what's going on here, is that you're dealing with people who have not ever been challenged in their whole lives. So they're willing to go hold a revolution with slingshots. These are people who think that they're going to beat the police, the fascist police of the government, with slingshots. But then they call the police out. They want the government, they want the federal policing agencies to go after dissenters, people like me, people like Liberty Doll, people like Mr. Guns and Gear. They want to get us attacked. They literally SWAT us, okay? Call various government agencies to complain about us. I've got some guy on Pluspora right now starting to quiz me about firearms in previous posts because he's trying to figure out a way to call the ATF. And I'm like, I can give you the agents' names. I know them. They're local. I've dealt with them before. This is not, this is not your hill to win. But there's a lot of this going on. The purge, I think that they think that if they just kick us all off, we'll go away. We'll peacefully accept it. We won't have samizdat. We won't have Parler. We won't have locals. We won't have alternate channels. We won't actually engage in society. They think that they can make us not part of society. The problem is that they're literally trying to do that to half or more of society. It's not a 50-50 split. The majority of people don't actually want socialism. It's not a 50-50 culture war. Slingshots. They think they can win because they think slingshots are how you have a revolution. They think that if they brigade attack and just get everyone removed from the internet, that it just goes away. And they can just keep doing that. They can keep bullying people. The thing is that there's no logic, there's no reason, there's no rationale, there's no rule of law, there's no stopping point. And that is pretty key. That's one of those key elements that goes along with the slingshots. They think the slingshots are effective because they've never had to deal with war. They've never had to deal with real conflict. They've never had anyone fight back, okay? They think they're winning against the police by shooting slingshots at them because the police aren't responding. The police are being calm. The police are not reacting. And I realize that that's not the case with all of the police. There are crazy bad things happening too. This is not a pro police rant of any kind. I remember Ruby Ridge and Waco, so but they think that a lack of response equates to a lack of ability. This is just like Saddam Hussein back in 1990. He thought that because Bush was quiet and said, hey, don't do that, that we were weak because we didn't kick his butt first and then talk. And that's dangerous territory, man. That's really dangerous. It's the slingshot model. They think that if they just run a purge a couple days before the election, they'll win and they'll own everything and we won't have a voice. And that's not how it's going to work. Anyway, I wanted to put this up because I want people to know there's a purge. It's like it comes from the New York Post thing and the Glenn Greenwald thing and the Joe Rogan thing, and it's all, and Matt Tabibi, it's all mixed together. But this is a definite reaction to being called out over the last couple of days. The media corporate complex has been called out, and they are getting hammered. And they're getting hammered by Congress. They're getting hammered in hearings. The Democrats literally asked for more censorship in the hearings this week. And I mean literally. Can you do more to censor? Can you do more to remove dissenting voices? They literally are asking the tech companies that. This is YouTube America. I'm talking to YouTube America. What does normal America think? The question is, what does normal America think? I'm in a kind of a weird position because I live in a place where most people are conservative and they're not ill-informed, but they're not all terribly well-informed on the details of what the left is doing, of what is being done in the culture war. They're just like, they know they're against it, they know they're against the progressives, but they don't know the level and the details of various attacks. That doesn't change that they're against it. They're not fully informed on the day-to-day tactics of the war. There are a couple notable progressives that I'm friends with in the Churchill County area in Nevada, and they don't see a problem with it. They literally do not, cannot, will not see a problem. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I really just do not know. I don't know what to say. Like, we have a purge. I would suggest that you go, if anyone you follow has any alternate sources, I suggest that you go find them and start interacting with them. Parler is probably the easiest, but it's a little difficult because it is such a monopole environment. It is definitely like you're in a little fishbowl. And a lot of it is people putting out ads for their stuff. That's the problem with Minds too. Is Minds was always just people saying, "Hey, look at my stuff." No conversation, no real stuff. It was just advertising and self-promotion. And Parler's got a little of that problem, but there are real people on it. You need to ask your friends, like, are you on Parler? Can I add you? Can we make this actually a place where I can have a conversation? And it'll work. It'll absolutely work if you use it. I can't get MeWe to work that way for me, but MeWe's also there. I think that the diaspora pods are a lost cause. It's almost exclusively progressive, and they brigade, they attack, they they absolutely want it to be a progressive space. Dissent is not something they appreciate or allow. It's definitely a bubble. There's a plus for a bubble, and it's fun being one of the heretic dissidents on the bubble, but it's never going to be an open community. That's about it. You know, I'm on Parler, Sideways Coyote, spelled with a K, and go find me. That's an easy one. And hopefully I will be able to cross-post more of my stuff to BitChute as time goes on. It's a bandwidth limitation. That's all I got. Stay sideways, and don't get purged, man. The next step on the purge is physical. You don't want that.